With 8 wins out of the last 10 games, looking at around 2.2 points per game and 11 wins from his first 15 as Boro boss, Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough are flying in the Championship, and it looks like the mighty Boro might be on their way to a playoff place at the very least.
As the Uruguayan curls one in. Oh, Middlesbrough take the lead!
What is up, guys? Matthew here, and welcome to MAR and episode 1 of a brand new series here on the channel called Project Boro, where myself, big Boro fan, will be reviewing every single game that Boro have in their season, and it's just going to consist of me sitting back, talking about the performance, what I liked, what I didn't like, what I think of the team, where we're at, where we're going, and what the foreseeable future looks like for Middlesbrough Football Club, and if playoffs, promotion is on the cards. Now, with this being episode 1, of course, I want to talk about Michael Carrick's time as Boro boss as a whole, and so far he has had 15 games in charge. He took charge of us when we were 22nd in the Championship, in the relegation zone, no less, and we've had 11 wins, 1 draw and only 3 defeats in that time, scoring 31 goals, conceding 15. He's turned Chuba Akpom into an absolute goal-scoring machine, the first Boro striker who looks likely to score 20 goals in a single season since Bernie Slavin did it at the end of the 80s, and I think it was into the 1990 season, and has turned Boro into a free-flowing goal-scoring machine, which is something we have not been able to say for as long as I can remember. Not even in our promotion season under Aitor Karanka did we ever look like a really free-flowing goal-scoring threat. We would ground out results, we would be absolutely unreal defensively. I think we went on a run where we didn't concede a goal in 9 games that season, and of course went up automatically after a last day draw against Brighton. But this Boro team is probably the best attacking Boro team I've seen in a long, long time, for as long as I can remember, since I was a kid. I mean, I was too young to remember the late 90s with Brian Robson's Boro. My earliest memories were the Steve McLaren Boro teams, which of course was an unbelievably successful period, and a period I would die to go back to, with Premier League glory, League Cup glory, UEFA Cup almost glory, but an unbelievable run all the same. And this team is just clicking, and what Michael Carrick has been able to do in only 15 games with a team that Chris Wilder, a seemingly experienced, well-respected and well-accomplished coach, couldn't do with this squad is quite eye-opening. You know, Wilder would say that the squad wasn't good enough. Him, along with Warnock and other Boro managers in the past, would always moan about the squad, the recruitment, that they needed more players, that it wasn't quite complete, they had certain aspects missing in certain positions. Carrick has just come in, took the squad, took the signings that Wilder made especially, and has turned so many players into absolute superstars. You know, Chuba Akpom, the top goal scorer in the Championship, 17 goals for him. I think he's had a goal contribution in all but 3 of Carrick's 15 games in charge. It's something like that. It's absolutely insane. And he's turned a guy whose previous best goal scoring record in the Championship, I think, was 5 goals, and he's turned him into just a monster in front of goal. He's had him in that number 10 position where he can free roam a little bit, and he's so good at taking the ball on the half turn, providing chances for the likes of Cameron Archer and the wingers either side of him, whether it's Riley McGree or Marcus Force, and can also get into the right areas himself, and has been clinical with some of his finishing. So yeah, in a nutshell, Michael Carrick's Boro are just getting better, and that is the scary thing. You know, some of the football we've played in the last 3 games especially has been football that I think any fan would be super envious of. You know, football that I've seen other teams play and been so jealous and wish that Boro could be like that. And we are now that team. And I think we're starting to shore up at the back a little bit. We made a little mistake at the weekend against Cardiff, which I'll get onto, but yeah, I think we're starting to look more solid at the back. I think we've got a partnership there, whether it's Lenihan and Fry or now Lenihan and McNair, that seems solid enough. Of course, playing out from the back, we're always going to bring pressure on ourselves and maybe create the odd mistake like we did at the weekend, but you know, it's a way of playing that is working, and when it works, I mean, some of the goals we've scored, the goal against Blackpool, Akpom's second was just out of this world football. So, yeah, what Carrick is doing to this team is absolutely exceptional, and if we'd have started the season with him, and would have had the same points per game ratio as him, we would be up there with Sheffield United and Burnley, and they are considered as two teams who are literally running away with automatic promotion. I mean, Burnley could break records this season. Sheffield United have also just been unbelievable, and they are two teams that I guess you could say are outstanding, extraordinary teams compared to usual championship seasons, and Boro could have been one of them if we'd have had Carrick from the start. That's the level we've been at under him. They've just had a head start on us given the very bad start we had with Chris Wilder. So yeah, we continue like this. I don't see why we can't make the playoffs. Results at the weekend were very good. Watford dropped points, Norwich dropped points, Luton dropped points. So the gap to the playoffs now is even larger. I think it's 5 points, maybe 6 points to 7th. So if we can keep this momentum going, the playoffs should be realistic. And that's weird as a Boro fan. Normally we're sort of jumping into 7th, into maybe 6th and 5th, and hovering between sort of 5th, 6th down to 10th. And we're like in the playoffs, out the playoffs. And it's a case of, can we sneak in? Can we cling on to a place? But to be in there comfortably, and if anything, look up. Normally when we're in the playoffs, we're looking behind us to see who could catch us, who could overtake us, who could knock us out the playoffs. But the fact we seem so comfortably, so comfortable in that position. The fact that we're looking up at Sheffield United and sort of ignoring the teams behind us and going, right, next up Sheffield United, let's see if we can catch them, is crazy, and that just shows where the standards are at for us. And of course, that game against Sheffield United, the biggest game of the season in my mind, our playoff final, is Wednesday night, and I will get to that at the end of the video. But yeah, for me, this Boro team is only going in one direction. I think it's past the new manager bounce thing now. We've come back from the World Cup and we have kicked on and look even better. So a playoff position, I think, should definitely be on the cards. I hope it's third, gives you a bit of an advantage. And then we've got the Wembley hoodoo to maybe get over. But I'll talk about that and automatic promotion at the end when I discuss Sheffield United. So, at the weekend, Boro went to the Cardiff City Stadium to play a Cardiff side that has been bang in trouble over the last couple of fixtures. They've struggled in front of goal, especially in the last the last couple of games for quite a while, to be fair, and as you can see, have lost 4 of their last 5. They are, I think, the lowest scorers in the league, 22 goals, and if Wigan pick up even a point with their game in hand, Cardiff will drop into the relegation zone, and Huddersfield will also knock them into relegation and go above them with Huddersfield's goal difference if they get a point from their game in hand. So they are looking in a precarious position. The same could be said for Blackpool. So if results went against Cardiff, even in the slightest, they could be bottom of the league. So they are in a really, really difficult spot. And Boro went there in a game that I would say usually in the past we would slip up. When it comes to banana skins like this in the past, Boro would always slip up. We'd drop points and maybe concede a late goal or start really badly. We did that against Cardiff earlier in the season when we were, I think, 3-0 down at half-time. It was probably the worst performance, I think, under Wilder, or one of them. There was quite a few of them. But we went there and put in a very, very good performance. Cardiff didn't really pose that much of a threat, especially in the first half. Boro looked very reassured in possession, dominating the ball. I didn't watch the game live as I was at a party at the time, but yeah, the first goal from Marcus Forss was an absolutely unbelievable team goal, and just a peach of a goal, a wonderful football, the football you just want to see your teams playing. Unfortunately, we let them back in with an equaliser. Cabba got a goal after a sort of miscommunication between Stefan and McNair. I think, Stefan gets a lot of hate, but for me, we play much better football with Stefan in the side than we do without him. I'd much rather us play out from the back and use his distribution and score some of the goals we have, like we did against Blackpool, and maybe make the odd mistake. And I just don't think McNair was quite expecting the ball, and that's what led to them getting in with a tap-in. But that was the only thing they did first half, so we managed to reassure our dominance with Archer's Boro's second goal, Archer's first goal, which was a fantastic ball from Hayden Hackney, who was another player who Carrick has sort of took to another level. I will credit Leo Perkovic for bringing Hayden Hackney into the team, but yeah, his through ball for Archer was incredible, and Archer's pace in behind is another great asset to our attack. Akpom is a poacher, but Archer is someone who will, cause defenders to be running the other way. He'll have them looking over their shoulder. A great well-timed run from him, a great composed finish from around the keeper. And to be fair, I thought Boro would kick on from that. 2-1 up at half-time. We've gave Cardiff a goal. We've gifted them a goal that they don't really, they don't score very often. So seeing them score once, I think they scored once in the last 8 or something. Seeing them score twice would be just atrocious. So you'd think Boro would, kick on and seal the deal in the second half, but it was not that easy at all. And if anything, Cardiff came out second half and were arguably the better team. They put us under real pressure. They pressed us really high. Boro weren't that reassured in possession, and it's the kind of game where you're looking at it 2-1 up against a team who have only scored once in the last 8 games or whatever, and Boro fans will know exactly what I mean when I say typical Boro, and that wasn't the case. Usually, and I would say a Boro team in the past would have buckled and conceded, and would have somehow conceded to a team who don't score goals and dropped 2 points. But we didn't. We had a few scares. We did ride our luck. Kipper had an unbelievable chance that he somehow missed for Cardiff. But yeah, just when we needed it, Riley McGree, another player, I could list them, they're endless. Another player who has been on fire, scored a fantastic goal to finish it off and put the result beyond all doubt and sealed a 3-1 win, which on paper, you'd think was a solid win, but in hindsight, when you watch the game, it maybe wasn't a 3-1 game, but we'll take it, 3 points, and we stay where we are in the table. And looking at the table, we are up to third, 2 points ahead of Luton. They do have a game in hand though, so we could drop beneath them. In fact, Millwall have 2 games in hand, so we could even drop beneath them too. So it's not the most comfortable of third positions, but yeah, 6 points clear of Sunderland, who also have a game in hand in 7th. But I'm confident in this Boro side, and I'm confident that we can maintain a playoff place. And I feel we're getting better and better every game. But, however, coming up on Wednesday is Sheffield United, and they are an absolute unbelievable machine. They are a team that just functions so well. They are unbelievably efficient, especially at home, and Boro have never had any luck at Bramall Lane. I was there at the game last season when we lost 4-1, and it was one of the worst performances I think I've seen. It was absolutely awful, and I just don't want a repeat of that again. I would probably take a draw, in all fairness. I think a draw is better for us than it is for them, because we keep that 10-point gap, and 10 points is a lot, and if they win the game in hand, it's 13 points. So in essence, the least we can do is hold on to them. The one thing I don't think we want to do is let them win and beat us, because then they gain 3 points. And I think, for me, if Sheffield United beat us on Wednesday, it's over, in my opinion. I think automatic promotion is over. I think for a neutral, they'll be hoping that we can beat them, or at least draw, to keep the top 2 fight in any sort of way going. I already think it's a long shot for Boro to get second, and it would be one of the greatest, I think, not comebacks, but one of the greatest achievements to overhaul the Sheffield United side and nick second off them. I think it would have been to a similar level as to what Forest nearly did last season, when they nearly nicked automatic promotion off Bournemouth before Bournemouth beat them at home. And Sheffield United might do the same thing here and kind of kill off automatic promotion. It's hard to believe that with what will be 15 games to go, Sheffield United essentially could seal automatic promotion on Wednesday. 15 games to go, 13 points clear. That's not getting overturned in my opinion. However, if Boro can win, that gap turns to 7, and then a couple of the dropped points, and they're suddenly in sight again. So a win for me would be obviously amazing. I would take a point, but a draw means it's all over. So yeah, second's a long shot anyway. We need a result to keep it going. Our record at Bramall Lane is pretty shocking, and most of my memories of playing Sheffield United, especially at their place, are pretty bad memories. So yeah, I'm going to predict that we're going to draw. I think it'll either be a 1-1 or a 2-2, and I would absolutely take that. Take something from Sheffield United. It means they're no further away from us than they were before, and it doesn't halt our momentum. I think that's important as well. We don't want to lose a game, although every time we've lost a game under Carrick, we've won straight afterwards. We've been very good at bouncing back from defeats, but yeah, momentum's a big thing for us as well, and I think just to draw and get a point from a very, very good team at a very good ground would be great for us. So yeah, Michael Carrick's Boro are flying, and maybe we can blunt the blades on Wednesday night. We'll have to wait and see, but I will bring you episode 2 of Project Boro after the Sheffield United game, where fingers crossed we will be talking of a good Boro result. So that is it for episode 1 of Project Boro, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button and subscribe for more. Let me know what you think of the series, and if you'd like to see more going forward, do hit that bell too so you are notified when I do drop an upload here on the channel. I am going to be bringing you a FIFA 23 Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough career mode, where we're going to be creating Michael Carrick in FIFA and seeing if we can emulate what he's currently doing at Boro and get them promoted into the Premier League. So that shall hopefully be coming next week or this week, depending on when the video drops. But if you do want to see an even more in-depth, more in-depth and better, I'll be honest, analysis of Boro's game against Cardiff, then please head over to the Boro Breakdown podcast. You can find them on YouTube, you can find them on podcast providers. They're an amazing Boro podcast that I do a lot of creative work for, and it's great to be a part of that amazing team. So if you want to listen to the best Boro podcast around, with the best analysis, the best 3 people, and just the best Boro podcast around, that's all I can say. Search for the Boro Breakdown podcast and you will not regret it. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching episode 1. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all hopefully next time with a win. See you then.